Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're a first time visitor, thanks for coming by. Today I got another sword review for you guys. Today we're going to be looking at the Cobra Steel Kindjal by Windless Steel Crafts. The Cobra Steel line of swords is basically a budget line of swords, functional, battle-ready swords, put out by Windless Steel Crafts. And the line tends to use historical blade designs, fit them out in a tactical manner. So as you can see here, this has got like a very tactical look in the form of the grip here. So do them up in a tactical style and sell them pretty cheaply. The Kindjal from Windless is I think it's $59.95 or $59.99. I'll put a link in the description below, so you can figure out if you really want one, where to buy one. I got mine from Cult of Athena. I've had it for a good, maybe like 6 months, and I just got around to like using it and testing it now. Let's just go over some quick stats on the weapon, and then we'll get into the review. So you got like a 17-inch blade, so definitely a short sword. The overall length is 23.5 inches, and the handle here is like a hard sort of hard rubberized grip that's over molded over the tang. So I assume that this is in fact a full tang construction, but without actually cutting off this grip and taking a look underneath, there's really no way to tell, but it definitely feels like it probably is a full tang construction. I couldn't find any information about whether it is or not, so if anyone knows, please put down in the description below whether or not it is full tang. It definitely feels like it's full tang, so like I said, no way to confirm it other than cutting the grip off, which I'm not going to do. Now, the blade material, this is actually quite interesting. This is made out of X46 CR13 stainless steel. So this is a sort of like a higher carbon stainless steel that they used for this blade. Now, there are two versions of this sword that came out by Windless, or I should say that Windless put out. The first version of this sword is exactly the same, except that it came with a 1095 blade. They don't make it like that anymore, so if you purchase one of these now, you're going to get this stainless steel blade instead. Now, I would have preferred to have the 1095 because I love 1095 for sword blades. However, this stainless blade that they put on here is pretty nice. It has really good edge retention. It's pretty durable. I'm just not a big fan of stainless steels on sword blades. I presume they switched to this particular steel for cost reasons. This is probably cheaper to acquire and or produce. So yeah, bye-bye 1095. It's too bad. I think this sword would have been better in 1095, but hey, it is what it is. For $60, I guess $60 with a 1095 blade makes this a super good deal. However, it still is a pretty good deal the way it is. So the overall shape and design is what they were going for is a Kindjal. And for those of you who don't know, and I didn't know before I actually bought this sword, a Kindjal is a short sword that originates out of the Caucasus region in Eurasia. So an area that encompasses the modern day countries of Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, a little bit of Russia, and I think maybe a little bit of northeastern Turkey, and the Caucasus Mountains sort of run through there. So that's where this weapon sort of originated, or this blade design, I should say. Not this particular weapon, but the design. And I have a couple examples here to show you of some originals. This one dates from around the 18th century, and as you can see, it's very similar in design, or very close in design to what you're looking at here in terms of shape and dimensions. I got another one here from the 19th century. It's a 19th century example. Like I said, I think in terms of the shape and blade design, I think Windless got it very good. However, I think they could have drawn out this point a little bit more to make it more pointy, as most of the originals I've seen have that very, very acute sort of drawn out point. And this sword here doesn't really have that, but it is quite pointy and makes for a really good thrusting blade. For those of you guys who are fans of swords and whatnot, you'll see that it does bear a striking resemblance to a Roman gladius, and it handles a lot like one and it feels a lot like one. However, it is a lot shorter and smaller. Now, some modern sources and other places that I've seen refer to this blade as a large double-edged dagger or a large knife. I can't see this being used as in the way that you would use a dagger or like a large knife. Just simply because it's too big. It's got a 17-inch blade, so I mean, it's way too cumbersome to be cumbersome in comparison to a dagger, which I would think would be something like, 5, 6, 7 inches tops. This is definitely a short sword, in my opinion. So it does come with a sheath, and you can see it here. It is a pretty basic sheath. It's basically 2 pieces of leather riveted together, and very, very basic. And for the money, you really can't complain, I guess. It does have a belt loop on the back, so that if you do want to wear it, you can. Nothing to write home about with the sheath. Yeah, it's pretty basic, but it is nice that it actually comes with a sheath. For $60, maybe you'd expect that it wouldn't actually come with a sheath. But I mean, overall, it's a pretty nice blade. It's... You can see the handle here. It's like a hard rubber overmold. And the blade came pretty sharp. It wasn't super, super sharp, so I actually did a little bit of edge refinement on it myself to bring it up to a higher degree of sharpness. But it is worth noting that it does come sharp, and that's actually pretty interesting because most blades that are shipped by Windlass, they come out of India. That's where they're made, and they ship dull, and you have to get them sharpened by a dealer or something that's actually selling you the sword. This actually comes sharp, so you don't really need to deal with that. However, I do have to say it wasn't overly sharp when I got it, or you could easily run your hands across the edge and you wouldn't be cut. So I did a little bit of work on this one, not too much. I put it on a work sharp, and I brought the edge up to a pretty nice degree of sharpness. So yeah, you can see the blade here. Like I said, it doesn't taper as acutely as the originals do, but it does actually thrust pretty well, which you'll see from the test footage that I actually have. So yeah, I mean, let's get into the test footage actually and take a look and see how this thing actually cuts. This was actually before I put my edge on it. So this is with the factory edge. Check that out. Nice cut. Fairly decent. For a sword that is not primarily a cutter, not bad. That was a pretty decent cut right there. There's some thrusting. Thrusts really nicely. Very easy to thrust with. You can see how this would be very formidable in a close range combat situation. I'm kind of standing further away from this target than you would be in a combat situation, but you get the idea. Here's one that just came right off the stand. Goes through bottles quite nicely. This was, like I said, this was with the factory edge. So as you can see, pretty nice. kind of tore through that. Those are those thicker soda bottles, the harder shell. It tore through. It started to cut right through here, then it tore starting here. Here's some thrusting with a closer range. Some more thrusting. This was actually made a great thrusting sword, which speaks to the overall design of how this sword is supposed to be used. But it is actually a cut and thrust weapon. Now this is after I actually honed the edge, and as you can see, very nice in terms of sharpness. So it went right through the pool noodle pretty easily, and as you can see, nice clean cuts, and these are deceptively hard to cut. So now it started raining outside, so I'm actually inside. Here are some harrying cuts that I did that weren't full power, but you can see it made some pretty devastating cuts on this mat. And here I power up for a full cut, and there you go. You can see it mostly went through. There's a really nice cut. Like I said, this was after I put my edge on it. So this was the best cut I could get after I put my edge on it. Pretty good. Yeah, so I mean, it was extremely fun to use. I always say it's fun to use because just getting out and anything that I actually test is, I think, fun to use, because getting out in the backyard and doing some test cutting is always just such a great, fantastic, rewarding experience if you're into this kind of stuff. And it's hard to actually set some time aside to do these tests, but man, they're just so much fun. And this thing performed rather nicely. I mean, it's a short cut and thrust sword. It's obviously going to be better in the thrust, I believe, than it will be in a cut. But actually, if you were in a close quarters combat situation, this would be a devastating weapon. I mean, you can get some really effective, nice, decent cuts in at close range. Now, is it going to cut like a katana or a longsword or something like that? I don't think so, but I don't really think it's meant to. So, yeah, overall, I think it performed pretty good. And for $60, man, I think it's actually a pretty decent deal. So for you guys out there that are looking for something that is very budget-minded, very, functional, battle-ready to go, that actually cuts, that actually thrusts, and, is based on a historical design, like this Kindjal here, I think you guys would be pretty happy with it. Now, these are actually kind of hard to find right now. There's some other YouTubers that have done reviews on these, and I think it's pretty popular. So they're probably back ordered in a lot of places, but I assume that they'll be available again pretty shortly. Once the pandemic sort of, cools off, hopefully, supply chains and stuff will move back to normal, and stuff like this will be quicker to get to market. But anyway, yeah, a lot of fun. I do actually recommend it. Keep in mind, it is a $60 sword, so it's not going to be the 100% best thing that you've ever gotten, but for $60, I think it's actually well worth it. And yeah, I can easily recommend it. However, my example didn't come super sharp. So, a sword like this, I think, needs to have a pretty nice edge on it. So, it did come with a secondary bevel, and it did come with an edge, but, once again, I had to put my own edge on it. So if that's something that, the factory edge actually did cut, as you could see. I'm just saying, if you want it sharper, keep in mind, you're probably going to have to do a little bit of work to it to get it, nice. But, yeah, definitely worth it. I think $60. Go out and get yourself one if you like what you saw here. So once again, if you like my videos and you want to see more reviews, leave some likes, put some comments down below, subscribe for upcoming videos. I got a bunch of swords that I want to review, and the next sword I want to review is actually going to be kind of exciting because well, I don't want to spoil it, but anyway, thanks for coming, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a really good day. Bye.